Hello, my lovely people, and welcome to Owen's Mind, a light-hearted trip through the contents of my head and the world in general. It is Sunday the 3rd of May. My name is Owen, and here is what is on my mind today. So, as usual, I've picked out 5 stories making the news I would like to give my thoughts on. Links will be in the description below so you can read each article in full and show the original publication some love. And we've got a few good ones today. So let's get started. Without further ado, story number one. Story number one today comes from BBC News. So, the mountain, Hafthor Bjornsson, has broken the world deadlift record. Yeah, crazy amount of weight. So Game of Thrones actor Hafthor Bjornsson has set a world deadlift record by lifting 501 kilograms, which is 1,104 pounds. Bjornsson, the powerlifter who portrayed Sir Gregor the Mountain Clegane in the HBO series, broke the record at his gym in his native Iceland. He lifted the barbell for 2 seconds, held it before lowering the weight and roaring in delight. The event was streamed by sports broadcaster ESPN and filmed in Bjornsson's YouTube channel. Bjornsson himself is 2.05 metres tall. He's 6'9", which is vast. I mean, I'm 6'4", so he's another 5 inches on me. And he previously won the World's Strongest Man in 2018. Speaking in a behind-the-scenes video posted on YouTube, Bjornsson said, "I'm extremely proud, I'm extremely happy. It's great. There's nothing better than proving people wrong. So many people didn't believe in me. So many people said that 501 is never going to go up. But I also had a lot of support." He added, "I feel healthy, I feel good. I'm just absolutely speechless, even though I'm talking a lot now. But I'm excited, super excited. This is huge for me." The previous record was held by Eddie Hall, a British man who in 2016 became the first man to lift 500 kilograms. So yeah, a colossal amount of weight for a human being to lift. Whether it's an official record, I do not know, and here's why. Because when Eddie did it, he did it in competition, from what I understand. His was a competition lift, which means that everything on that bar or every individual weight had been calibrated so that when he lifted 500, you could be sure that that bar weighed 500. Thor did this in his gym, and before the lift, there'd been a lot of controversy. Eddie himself had come out because during the lockdown, Thor had said, "I'm gonna try and break the record at home," and Eddie had pointed out, "You can't do that because it needs to be adjudicated by officials. You need to be able to check that these plates weigh exactly what they weigh, because across all them plates, if they're out by a small margin, your 501 kilos becomes 499.7 kilos. So you have to make sure it's absolutely spot on." So whether or not this was done officially, and this is now an official record, I assume it is because it's absolutely everywhere, it's all over the news. We should wait and see. But yeah, and then there's going to be people who say, look, again, Eddie did it in competition, so he had the pressure of an audience, he had the pressure of stage, he had the pressure of occasion. But regardless, if 501, if he genuinely lifted 501 kilos, fair play to the guy, because that is superhuman. It just is. And more so because of his height. Tall people struggle with those kind of lifts like deadlifts and squats. I struggle. I'm 6'4" and a bit, 6'5", and even at my fittest, my deadlift and my squat has always been my weakest kind of compound movements. So yeah, absolutely fair play to the guy. And where do you go from here? Because 10 years ago, 500 was impossible. No one's ever going to lift 500 kilos. It's half a ton. No human being is going to physically pick up half a ton. At which point Eddie Hall said, "Hold my protein shake," and lifted it, and it took so much out of him. If you watch the lift, he is absolutely broken afterwards. And he said in interviews, "I thought I was going to die because of the amount of pressure it puts, the compression on your body. When you are holding that much weight is pulling down. So it's compressing your spine. It's, the muscles are having to fight so hard to stabilize. So not just the big muscles that everyone knows, all the little stabilizers around the joints and everything, and the tendons, this puts so much force on, and the blood pressure. His blood pressure went through the roof, as it does when you see these big lifts. The nose starts bleeding, which is because essentially your blood pressure is so high that it finds out its way out through the soft tissue, and I think that's capillaries of the nose. So that's why your nose, sometimes you'll see people doing big heavy lifts and their nose will start bleeding. When you look at Thor doing 501, it doesn't look easy, don't get me wrong, but it looks like he could have done 502. It looks quite straightforward. He gets up, he locks it out, and you brief hold at the top when you're locked out. I believe the adjudicator says right down, and you have to lower the bar under control. You can't drop it. Lower it under control, and that classed as an official lift. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see where we go from here, because like I say, 10 years ago 500 not possible. Now it's been done. So 10 years from now we're not going to get 600, not in 10 years, but we might get 510, 520 maybe. You know, as new athletes come along and training improves and, you know, drugs improve. It's a fact of it. Let's just, you know, put it out there. But yeah, staggeringly well done. If it's, like I say, if it's all signed off and adjudicated, like it was a genuine lift, I hope everyone takes it in good grace. Whether they're sort of Team Eddie or Team Thor, there was a bit of a divide over this, but hopefully, if it's all signed off as official, people will take it in good grace and just say, you know, fantastic job, incredibly well done. So, yeah. There we go. There we go. Good one to start with. So let's move on. Story number 2. This is BuzzFeed News. US women's soccer was just dealt a huge blow in their equal pay lawsuit. So there's lots of legalese in this, but I will do my best with it. So, a judge has ruled that the US women's national soccer team had insufficient evidence to bring their claim of unequal pay to trial, delivering a major blow to the 4-time World Cup champions' lawsuit. In an order issued Friday, US District Court Judge R. Gary Klausner granted the US Soccer Federation's motion for summary judgment to dismiss the key component of the women players' lawsuit, leaving just their claim of discrimination based on travel conditions and medical and training support viable for trial. So they brought several claims as part of this lawsuit, and the judges dismissed this one. The others are going to stand, but they've dismissed this one. He said, in sum, US Soccer has offered evidence in support of its motion for summary judgment that the women's national team had been paid more on both a cumulative and an average per game basis than the men's national team over the class period, the order read. Excuse me. With regard to the evidence that the women's team presented, including that they are paid lower bonuses for friendlies and that they would have made more under the men's national team's collective bargaining agreement than they did under their own contract, Klausner said the evidence is insufficient to create genuine issue of material fact for trial. Molly Levinson, a spokesperson for the women's players, said they have planned to appeal the judge's decision. We are shocked and disappointed with today's decision, but we will not give up our hard work for equal pay, Levinson said on Twitter. We are confident in our case and steadfast in our commitment to ensuring that girls and women will not be valued as lesser just because of their gender. Fantastic. US Soccer did not immediately respond to BuzzFeed News' request for comment. So this next part. The decision comes weeks after the Federation came under fire for arguing in legal filings that women athletes are less skilled and work less demanding jobs than their male counterparts. The comments sparked protests from the players who wore their warm-up jerseys inside out, hiding the US Soccer crest before a match against Japan, as well as retribution from major sponsors like Coke, Budweiser and Visa. Hours after the protest, US Soccer President Carlos Cordeiro resigned. The court also granted US Soccer's motion to dismiss the claim of discrimination based on the disparity between the field surfaces the men and women play on, but found that the players did have sufficient evidence to support their claim that the Federation subjected the women to inferior travel conditions. In 2019, 28 members of the 2015 women's team sued the Federation over gender discrimination. In the complaint, the players accused their governing body of shortchanging them in pay and working conditions when compared to the men's national team, which had not played nearly as well, didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup, and had not attracted anywhere near close to the record ratings and audience as their female counterparts. The team's fight for equal pay galvanised fans and the public as they embarked on a journey to a record 4th World Cup win last summer. Shortly after the final whistle blew, the crowd in Lyon, France erupted into chants of equal pay. Brilliant. In light of the decision Friday, Becky Sauerbrunn, a defender on the national team, tweeted, "If you know this team at all, then we have a lot of fight left in us. We knew this wasn't going to be easy. Change never is." So, yeah, they brought this lawsuit claiming several things, and this judge has thrown out one of the main key components of it, by the sound of it. Obviously, based on the comments made earlier that women aren't as skillful or they don't work as hard jobs, it casts a bad light on this decision because they sounded so misogynistic. This now comes under that. Now, there may very well have been evidence that says, no, you're not. On your average per game basis, you are paid more, or whatever it happens to be. But it just kind of smacks of, in this day and age, if they are playing the same or more games, they're doing better than the national team. Why are they not paid the same? To me, the only kind of argument And again, this is weak sauce, but the only kind of argument you could have for saying that male players should get more, not that they deserve more, but they do get more, that they should get more, is because from a sales perspective, from an audience perspective, although it says these were very highly, watched, the female games, in the UK particularly, there's not an audience demand for female soccer. Not the same, there is, but not as much as there is for the guys. So if, in regards to advertisers, you're getting more eyes on the male teams. So it's more lucrative, you're getting more sponsorship opportunities for guys, and this kind of thing. So that's the only aspect of this where they might currently have more value. And again, that's just an exposure thing. That's the way it is because there is far more male teams. Whereas if there was an equal amount of female teams and they were getting equal exposure, then you would get, the audience would come up for the female teams and you would get more sponsorship going their way and more endorsements and more eyes on there. So the advertising revenue is worth more because more people are watching the games. So advertisers are going to pay more because more people are going to see your adverts and that kind of thing. But you can't argue it on a fact. For me, you can't argue that, well, men are more skillful at soccer. No, they're just not. You're not more skillful. You move faster and you're stronger because that's genetics, that's evolution, I'm afraid. Guys, an average guy versus an average woman, the guy will be physically stronger and faster. And that's just structural. And that's not every woman and every guy. That's the average. I know some incredibly strong women and some incredibly weak men, and that's just the way it is. But you can't say because they move faster, they're more skillful. No, the women's teams, again, and the thing is, the guys' football has been around for decades and decades. They've had that chance to build up this skill set, and it's been passed down from coach to coach to coach. So they've had the ability to build these skills up over time. The national teams put, millions into coaching and into bringing these skills up. So I don't think women are any less skillful. It's just at the minute they're lagging behind because of inequality in the system. Saying that women don't work as hard at jobs as men, really? In this day and age, is there any job a man does that a woman can't do? I don't think so. Not really. So, yeah, it's a shame. It's disappointing. For me, they should have paid the same. My argument has always been, if you're doing the same job, you should get the same money. That's it. A job is not worth a different figure, depending on who's doing it. The job is worth what it's worth, and then whoever does it gets that salary if they do it up to the required standard. And it sounds like this females team has been kicking butt for years now. It sounds like they're world class. They're winning titles, so they're clearly up to they clearly reached that bar. So anyway, they're going to keep fighting. Hopefully they do. Hopefully this all gets resolved in a fair manner. Anyway, let's move on. Story number 3. Yes, Sky News. YouTube has deleted David Icke's channel over pandemic misinformation. Yes, good old David Icke. So for those of you who don't know, this is the guy who thinks that the British royal family is lizards in human costumes. Yeah. So conspiracy theories, David Icke has had his YouTube channel deleted because he repeatedly posted misleading information about coronavirus. The former TV presenter and professional footballer confirmed the news in a tweet on Saturday night, which included the video sharing his platform noticed him saying, "Activity in your account violates our terms of service." Icke referred to himself as the man the elite are terrified of and claimed the reason for his being banned was a made-up complaint from the Centre for Countering Digital Hate, the CCDH, a UK-based think tank. He used his channel, which had more than 900,000 subscribers at the time it was taken down, to push controversial, unproven claims that coronavirus is linked to 5G mobile phone networks. Such theories have been linked to a spate of attacks on 5G masts during the pandemic. The video in which he reportedly made that comment was later removed from YouTube. In another video on his website, Icke said he obviously does not believe there is actually a virus and says lockdowns are a way of destroying people's livelihoods and making them dependent on the state. On Friday, he was banned from Facebook, and the last clip he posted on YouTube discussing that ban had about 120,000 views. So, yeah, he's been making crazy claims, and YouTube have, in my opinion, very rightly taken him down. Because here's the thing about anybody on YouTube. I mean, I'm nobody on YouTube, not a person. There's 3 or 4 people who are going to see this video. at best. The person who's going to watch it most is me, checking it back to make sure there's no jumps in it and this kind of thing. But people who've got a lot of followers, you have power. And to quote Uncle Ben, as in Spider-Man's uncle, not the Rice Guy, with great power comes great responsibility. If you have an audience who believe in what you say and have faith in you, it is on you to give out correct information. Okay? If you're going to give your opinion, you have to make 100% sure that what you're giving is your opinion and not a fact, because bad things can happen. From this, I did a story a couple of weeks ago that people were burning 5G masts because they said they could transmit the virus, an organic material, through a radio tower. People believed it. You know, this is all of what we're seeing with the US president, with Donald Trump, about him not necessarily giving out misinformation, but him saying things in his press briefings to other people around him, and then the audience saying, well, he's the most powerful man in the world, so what he's saying must be true. You need to tailor what you're saying for all of society. Anybody who's going to watch your video. You cannot just say, well, you know, smart people are going to get it. No, you've got to say it for everybody, because some people are going to take you very literally and this kind of thing. So he's complained they've taken his channel down. It was the same, the other guy, I can't remember his name, Alex something, who just has all these crazy conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories, sometimes they're fun. It's fun to dive into a conspiracy theory and just go, yeah, maybe, maybe not. But again, as long as you say it's a theory, you cannot say this is what's happening. No. This is what I think, my thought is this. Okay? Make up your own minds. There's a big difference. So they've taken his channel down. I'm not surprised, particularly with what's currently going on with COVID. You need to, if you're going to put information out, you have to make sure it is absolutely on the money, because misinformation is dangerous at this time. For most, it is dangerous any time. But a lot of the time, it's just kind of misinformation is just, nothing bad's going to happen. People are just going to be misinformed. In this case, bad things can happen. So they've taken his channel down. Whether it's permanent suspension, whether he comes back, I don't know. If he had, 900,000 followers, he's going to find an outlet for that. But yeah, again, if you're going to put facts up, make sure they're facts. Anyway, let's move on to story number 4. Story number 4. This comes to us from AFP via MSN News. 2 pizzas and a spliff, please. Interpol warns of lockdown drug deliveries. Yeah, so criminal gangs are using fast food couriers to deliver recreational drugs to people confined at home because of coronavirus lockdowns. Policing agency Interpol said on Thursday. Cocaine, marijuana, ketamine and ecstasy are among the drugs being moved in pizza boxes or other takeaway containers in countries including Ireland, Malaysia, Spain and Britain. Interpol said in a statement. The agency issued a purple notice to warn its 194 member agencies against this new modus operandi, including couriers using bikes, motorcycles and cars. So with drug buyers and their dealers under lockdown with the rest of the society in many countries, some drivers are using this time to make a quick buck, while in some cases dealers simply posed as couriers. Others were unwitting mules. I like this. In one Malaysian case, a food delivery driver in the Gombak district of Kuala Lumpur contacted police and asked for his food package to be inspected after he became suspicious. Here's why he became suspicious. The rider had been tasked with delivering a single order of Indian flatbread, yet the parcel weighed approximately 11 kilograms, which is 20 pounds. In Spain, 7 people posed as delivery drivers were arrested in Alicante and Valencia after drugs were found concealed in the false bottoms of home delivery backpacks. In Ireland, police found 8 kilograms of cocaine and 2 handguns hidden in pizza boxes. You see, when I'm in for a pizza, the side order is, do you want some garlic bread with that? It's never like, do you want a load of hard drugs and a couple of shooters? Like, no, I'll just stick with my pepperoni, thanks. Countrywide lockdowns have sharply increased demand for home delivered food, and delivery drivers are a common sight on otherwise deserted streets, Interpol said. This provides the perfect cover for home drug deliveries, as it would. As criminals continue to adapt their activities to a world upended by COVID-19, Interpol's purple notices are essential tools in enabling police around the world to learn from each other's successes and address shifting crime patterns, said Stephen Kavanagh, the agency's executive director of police services. So yeah, we've heard stories about people adapting to lockdown, how to kind of move about and how to get food to each other. And there's a restaurant the other day where they've got like a single table in the middle of a field, and they've got like a post with a rope on and a basket, and they will get the basket food out to you, and you sit there and have a moment completely free from everybody around you. So people are adaptable, essentially what I'm saying, and drug dealers are no different, and they have now spotted, you know, at the minute you can't be parked at the bottom of a tower block in your blacked out Beamer with hip hop blasting out the window. Bit suspicious. So there's less vehicles on the road. So what vehicles are going to be on the road that police are not going to be suspicious of? Delivery drivers, delivery couriers, you know, takeaway delivery drivers, because they're allowed to be out there. They're one of the few people who are out there, and they are going to houses with packages. So it's the perfect cover, because police may see them. Number one, there's less people on the road to kind of point out suspicious behaviour, which is why people are like fly tipping and stuff now, because there's less eyes on them. They're less likely to be seen doing nefarious stuff. But again, if you are going to get seen by the police, you're just a guy delivering pizzas or delivering an Indian takeaway, whatever. And you're going to the door, and essentially what's happening is this drug deal is taking place in plain sight, but it doesn't look out of the ordinary. Because, like I say, you're not some shady dude in a blacked out car pulling up and doing a little handoff. You're, here's your food, sir, brilliant, and that's it. And so that's what they're doing. And so Interpol have rightly pointed this out. They say it's now a problem, so maybe it's going to be more. But how are you going to police this? How are you going to? They're going to have to rely on getting tips, aren't they, information? Because how are you going to police that? It's an incredibly difficult. Police sometimes have incredibly difficult jobs. How are you going to monitor this? Because unless you get tipped off that an individual takeaway is doing this kind of thing, how are you going to know? You're just going to stop delivery drivers randomly and just say, "Can I just check through, make sure you've got food in there and not drugs?" And I don't know. They will have a plan. They're smarter than me. But yeah, criminals have adapted. Anyway. Let's move on to the last one. The Metro is back. We have a Metro story, and this one is a very Metro story. So yes, Mum drinks sperm smoothies to fight off coronavirus. Before we go any further, there's no evidence that sperm will help you fight off coronavirus. Disclaimer, facts. Anyway, so mother of two believes that drinking smoothies with a shot of sperm have helped to boost her immune system and is helping to prevent coronavirus. Tracy Kiss, 32, said she's not had a cold or flu for 3 years, and because of her concoction, which is made using donations from her boyfriend, that she takes 3 shots a week. Tracy, a personal trainer from Aylesbury, said, "I found a free and vegan-friendly alternative method to boost the body's immune system." So, a couple of things. Number one, I was a personal trainer. Don't say stuff like this, because it makes us all look stupid. Because this is a stupid thing. A lot of people have not had a cold or flu for 3 or 4 years. And it could just be they've been lucky. It could be they have a very healthy, balanced diet. They have a very strong immune system. It's not necessarily because they're drinking jism. Vegan-friendly alternative to boost it. Is it vegan? It's the very definition of an animal product. Surely. You know, we are just animals. And the substance itself is a living thing as well. I mean, I'm no expert, but does that class as vegan? Anyway, she also says you don't always know what's in a pharmaceutical medicine. It's much better for the body to drink something that doesn't contain chemicals. It isn't much different to a mother breastfeeding a newborn to give them the nutrients they need. Yes, it is. It's very, very different. Breast milk is designed to be drunk by infants. This is not. It isn't for everyone, but it is packed full of vitamins, and I haven't had a cold or flu ever since I started drinking it in 2017. I also put it on my face to clear up my skin. That last one, ew, but it's actually true. Because one thing about semen is it's very high in zinc, which is good for your skin. So yes, that last part of that, of everything that she said so far, that last bit is actually correct. It does help clear up bad skin. Yeah. But everything before that, the remedy has not been verified by the World Health Organization. You don't say. The NHS and UK government advised people to stay at home to avoid getting the virus. Tracy continued, "It is best to consume semen as close to production as possible to get the most nutrients and benefits." Yeah, you need organic jism. But I often store it in the freezer in an ice cube tray as my partner, who does not wish to be named, surprisingly, and I are in a long-distance relationship. The quantity depends on how hydrated my boyfriend is on the day. I sometimes have a shot or disguise the taste in a smoothie with fresh bananas and berries. I'm strictly looking at this from a health perspective. I think a lot of people try new ways to boost their immune system when they start presenting symptoms, but it is too late. You must make your immune system strong prior to an illness to ensure that you can fight it off. Again, a good statement. Yeah, don't wait until you're ill to start doing something about your health and your immune system. By all means, do. You should be taking preemptive measures. Make sure you're fit and you're healthy and your diet's nice and balanced. And I know for a lot of people it's not fun. Eating healthy is not fun, or exercising daily is not fun. Some people do not like. I'm quite lucky in the sense that I enjoy exercise. I enjoy physical exertion. It makes me feel good. You get that rush of endorphins. I can't wait for the gyms to reopen so I can go back and start actually doing some sort of heavy resistance work, because I enjoy that. A lot of people don't, and I understand why they don't, because it makes you feel sore. You feel out of breath. You sometimes get, it's an uncomfortable feeling for a lot of people, and for some, so it's a lot of people don't want to hear, exercise more and eat right, because, junk food by its nature and alcohol tastes really good, and a lot of healthy food, you can argue, I think healthy food tastes good. A lot of it tastes kind of plain, and a lot of people just don't enjoy the taste of it. So for a lot of people, they don't want to hear it. But you know what? If you want to make yourself healthier and help fight off this, and again, it's not preventative, it's not a cure, but it gives your body the best chance it has at fighting off various illnesses, like she said, cold and flu and this kind of thing. The fact that she's a PT, and if she looks after herself, that's going to have a big effect on her fighting off cold and flu anyway. I'm not sure that this extra ingredient is making the difference. The clear skin thing, sadly I can't argue with, because that is a fact. The high zinc content does help you clear up your skin, but consuming it, drinking it, nothing. Even the WHO has gone, well, we've not tested this. We're testing a lot to try and find the best way to deal with COVID-19. Imagine if that was the cure. Oh my word. Imagine if they said, if they had to put a statement out saying, we've actually found a suitable cure. And you have to start, oh my god. Just imagine the smugness on guys' faces if it turned out that this actually had some positive benefits. I can't, I'm not going down that rabbit hole any further, yes. So she believes semen consumption will prevent coronavirus as she leads an active, healthy lifestyle, and the supplement has helped her immune system. No. She adds, the smoothies aren't any different to drinking honey and lemon water when you have a sore throat. Yes, they are very, very different. It's just another natural remedy, but completely free. You don't have to have a partner. You could just ask a male friend who is healthy. That's going to be an interesting conversation. Yeah, I'm trying to boost my immune system. Brilliant. Good on you. What are you going to do? You're going to start exercising, eating right? Well, yes, but there's something I was hoping you'd help me with. Oh yeah, what's that? Would you mind the next time you're entertaining yourself, a bit of solo time, if you just kind of catch it in this? Why? Because I'm going to put it in a smoothie, because it's going to make me better. I don't think we should see each other anymore. Yeah, you need to have an incredibly good male friend, an incredibly trusting male friend. Yeah. So there you go. She says, most people think I'm joking because it seems too good to be true that I'm being so open about a taboo subject, but I am not. I'm going against society's norm to educate and help other people who are missing out on nutrients. You're not educating anybody with that. I want to make the difference, which is what I'm sharing with this home remedy. Don't use words like remedies and that you are educating people. You are giving your opinion. Again, like it says, none of this has been proven. It has been shown that because it's high in zinc, it will help complexion. It is not the same as breast milk. Breast milk is designed to be taken and had and eaten and consumed by infants to make them grow. It's got a lot of antibodies from the mother in it, that kind of thing. This is not that. This is for reproduction. There's no evidence that it's going to improve your health at all. So please, please, please do not take this as fact. But she's not harming anybody, and yeah. The thing is this. Her saying, well, I have this semen smoothie and I've not had a cold and flu in 4 years. Okay, brilliant. Have you had a cup of coffee every day? So who's to say that it's not the coffee that stops you getting it? It's probably not, but you can't tell me. I did this exact thing a couple of weeks ago about hydroxychloroquine, saying people have hydroxychloroquine and they get better from coronavirus. And I pointed out 90% of people, there or thereabouts, get better anyway. This disease is not killing 50% of the people who get it. It's killing enough, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay it. But it's not, so 90% will get better anyway. And those 90% will drink coffee every day. So because nothing has been tested, because you have not had this tested, you cannot say to me that you having that is any better for stopping cold and flu than me having a coffee every day. Because I haven't had a cold and flu for 4 years either. So, you know what I mean? You've got to have empiric evidence in these kind of things. It's going back to the David Icke thing. Don't put out misinformation. Now, like I say, this is fairly harmless. You know what I mean? I can't see anybody getting ill from this. It's not particularly dangerous, but it's not saying I want to give people, you know what I mean? I want to educate people who are missing out on nutrients. No, this is not one of those nutrients you're missing out on. Unless you're incredibly low in zinc. Maybe. But most people aren't, I don't imagine. So, anyway, that's it, guys. So links to all the stories I've discussed can be found in the description below. Feel free to go and check them out. Let me know what you think about this video. And my question today is simply that smoothie, yes or no? Answers in the comments, please, along with any thoughts you'd like to share. These are mine. They're not necessarily important. They're not necessarily right or wrong. They're just what was on my mind. So until next time, bye for now.